Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Today is the day we are finally going to put the 240 on the ramp truck and go for a drive. I've threatened to do this before, but I think today is the day that we actually go out and test the new 460 5-speed setup in our F250 ramp truck and see how it does, because I need to do that to see what all is wrong. Because, I mean, we've already come across so many little hurdles here and there to get through, but you really don't know what you're up against until you test the thing in its actual configuration. So that's what I'm going to do today. I have made some additional modifications to the truck to try to make not just loading the car easier, but just make things safer. And let me give you a little look-see of what that looks like. So previously on the truck, the ramps that come out of the back didn't actually fit flush up in to the bed. Also previously it used to have handles on the back. I cut those off a little while ago. I still need to finish cleaning that up, but I cut those off so that the edge of the ramps sit on my race ramps over there nice and firmly, instead of being, you know, kind of up on them. Like there's basically a groove in these, a cutout in these, where those ramps will sit. And previously the handles would butt up against this, causing the ramps to kind of ride like here. And I wasn't a big fan of that, because the last thing I want to have happen is those ramps or these ramps to slide off of those. So off with those. And then the other day I went ahead and added some pins to the ramps. So now the actual ramps, although they are in here on a severe angle, like they're very hard to pull out, it's nice to have them retained. But the big thing is that I wanted them to be retained when they're all the way out. So the way that the ramps work originally, when they're all the way down, they actually have a solid retention into hitting the top of the bed, and they wouldn't go further in. But when they are up like this, they can slide in. And if that happens while loading the car, it's a major bummer because the ramps, again, can slide off of the other ramps. So now I've got a locking pin here so that in the worst case scenario, the ramps can only slide, a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch there. So that should be much safer and much more comfortable loading the car on here. Now that I'm out of breath just from pulling the ramps out, let me go ahead and start the process of actually loading the car on here, and we'll go for a drive. Okay, all loaded up. Did a little shimmying around to try and get the car where I really want it, because there's a sweet spot in it. Not only front to back, but left to right. And loading up solo, it's a little difficult to get it lined up left to right. But I got it close enough to give me some reference marks so that I can try to make some things that make it easier to get it up there on my own in the right place. It just rides a lot better if you get it nice and squared up. So I'm giving myself some reference marks here on the wheel well, so that when I open the door, I can kind of line myself up as if I'm left to right. This is where I really want to be, but anywhere in that range is decent. And then up here I was making some marks, because what I want to do is make a wheel stop right here, so that whenever I load the car up, it pushes up against this, and I know it's exactly where I want it. It used to have one way up here. I assume whatever car this was made for that used this probably had a much shorter nose. One thing with the 240 is that these panels always crack. No, not that. It's that it has a ton of front overhang. So from the center line of the wheel all the way out, there's a lot of nose, and then the nose actually protrudes even further. So the wheels are going to sit pretty far back all the time. So yeah, I want to make a different wheel stop right there, and one that's short so that the nose can clear it too. And that gives me a little extra security for the future of the car rolling forward. I also moved, so here you can see previously where the D-ring was to tie it down. I have moved that all the way forward so that I can have a proper ratchet length going forward to the hook. About to give that a try. The ramp stops worked pretty well. The only thing I noticed is basically I want to preload them, so push them in and then put them on that. Other than that, it's all got some wiggle and jiggle to it, but that's because the truck, you know, it's not like loading on a trailer. I guess it is kind of like loading on a trailer, but you know, everything has a little bit of movement to it, even with the wheels shocked, the brake on, the truck in gear. It's gonna move around a little. But yeah, it felt really good. The bummer of it was I had this brilliant idea given to me to use the preview screen from the Sony to guide me up, but I guess that's too much distance. This thing seems to lose connection between this screen and the action cam constantly. Like, this is 85% of the time what I'm seeing in that thing, so that's not as helpful. Maybe there's different settings for that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't even know if it uses Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but at the moment, not so great. What I might be able to do is actually put the camera on the car, like pointing down from the nose or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, let me get this thing tied down, loaded up completely, and we'll start our adventure. All right, we're loaded up. Let's hit the road. Not gonna go terribly far, just up the road a bit. Check the straps and whatnot. Make sure we got no tire rubs. So interestingly, it's actually the right front that's got a rub up in the inner fender, but only at like full lock. I think I need to just bend that back out. Let me check all the things though. So yeah, I just had to bend out the inner fender a little bit. Car seems good. Tires in the back seem good. Camera is not connected again. Like they're 6 inches from each other. And I'm good at. Yeah, that's the one. Excellent signal. There it goes. off in a second? Oh, with ease. With ease. Avoid the holes. I've often heard people say the thing about a 460 is it doesn't matter how much weight is behind it, it always drives the same. And my immediate impression driving this with a car on there is, yeah, it just drives the same. Some pretty big hills through here. It's gonna make it work, sure. But it doesn't feel nearly as strained as it used to. All right, there's the bobble. It seems like maybe it doesn't like the weight being forward, because the bobble feels a little bit worse today than, granted, it's been a while. I haven't had the car on here in over a year. But yeah, it's got a heck of a to it. Up at about 45. But then I remember it would smooth out. I think those front shocks really need replacing. So we're just rolling in fourth right now. Close this, maybe you'll have a chance at Hega hearing me. All right. Brakes. What were you like with a car on there? It's actually a lot better now with the brakes because I don't have to rely on them nearly as bad. I have gears to help me slow down. Like, I've only just now gotten to the brakes. The part where I really want to upgrade the brakes is, you know, those emergency stops. All right, we're on a bit of a hill here. Let's do a granny gear pull. Wait on second. We're good. Heck yeah. Love it. I can let it rev out a little bit more. I've got to find where the sweet spots are. This engine sounds like it's turning a lot more RPM than it really is all the time. Find somewhere to pull off again, just to give everything a once over. It's really nice actually. Comes up to 55 here. Here, 55, barely turning any RPM. Just cruising along. I don't like to pull off at cemeteries. That's a bad place to pull off to check things. I got no problem with cemeteries, but listen, I got enough bad luck. I don't need any bad omens. Churches are usually okay, but I've had some bad church experiences too, where it's like they can smell the non-compliance on me and they yell at me. Temps are good, pressures are good. Just cruising. This is what I want. I think once the brakes are better, and we can get rid of the shimmy, hopefully, with the shocks in the front, I think we got ourselves a good hauler. I really do. I need to tighten these mirrors. the wind pushes them in. Maybe put a little Loctite on them or something. I think you can see by my arm how much it's bouncing. Bounce, 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 bounce. These people out in the country, they know not to pull out in front of a big old truck like this. Door got me. Seems like a quiet place to check things out. Good thing nobody pulled up behind me. I had the plate cover on. See what kind of stretch of road I can find. I want to give it like a decent braking test if I can. Still recording, still recording. Hey. See, the truck runs really good, as I expected it to. Oh, mirrors. That's what I wanted to do. I like to be able to see the car on there a bit when the mirrors. Not that I can't look back and see it, but it's good to see if it's like hopping around or doing anything. I mean, it gets up out of its own way. It just doesn't. It doesn't stop out of its own way quite as quickly. But that's next. So yeah, one of the things I'd like to do is find a stretch where I'm going 55 and like nice open terrain, pump side, nice open terrain, nice open traffic, I mean, flat terrain. And just see how long it takes to get it mowed down at a reasonable pace, like not emergency stopping, but just like if I was stopping it when I feel its full safe potential. I'm not going to downshift or anything like that. No bumps. Ouch. My spine. Not going to downshift or anything like that. Just going to give a good straight line braking test. Up and over this hill. Oh yeah, nobody out here, we're good. Oh, they stink, oh, they stink, oh, they stink. That was about 50, that was about 56, 57. I don't know why I started in first. Just a habit. Oh, they stink. I hate that smell. They're resin shoes, and the resin, like the epoxy in them, gets real hot. Oh, it stinks. Now I gotta drive real timid because those brakes will stay hot for a good little while. You won't have quite as much pedal the next time you go for them. Like, they feel good, they feel normal. It's not pulling and darting around like it used to, but they're 1967. And they're not even heavy duty 1967. They didn't even use a heavy duty truck to build this, so it doesn't have the best brakes you could get in the year, which is ridiculous. Why would you do such a thing? All right. Good test, I do believe. Get turned around here and head back to base camp. All right, all right. It's a flat road, there's nobody out here. Let's see if we can hit 60. I kind of have my doubts though. I'm gonna start from second. Yeah, we can. Easily. Easily, I say. It was a long time, but we did it. What a riot. All right, back in the garage. I would call that a total success.